I don't go to Canada anymore. But
Ever?
No.
You went to a gig?
Joe Rogan, the fearless voice of reason, has declared he's never going to step foot in Canada as long as Justin Trudeau is the prime minister. Why? Because in Rogan's world, Trudeau is nothing short of a communist nightmare. Yeah, his words, not mine. So if you're a fan of Rogan and you were hoping to see him somewhere in the Great White North, that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. But seriously, let's see what Rogan is saying in this clip, and let's dig deeper and see if there's any merit to this or if he's overreacting.
Yeah, not why that guy's president. Fuck you.
Yeah,
or
but
whatever he is, prime
people
minister.
are fans of yours. They want to see you still.
Fuck you. Get rid of that guy. I'll come back. I just don't trust any of it up there.
Yeah.
I just think they're so far into tyranny right now. Like the laws that they're passing, the shit that they're doing, the erosion of people's rights. Like I don't want to support it. I think it's fucking horrible.
All right, so many of you probably know he's talking about C11, which really restricts what we can share and what we can see on social media and online here in Canada. I mean, recently, if you open Instagram and try and see a news article from somewhere outside of Canada or even somewhere in Canada, you can't see it because the government has deemed it not viewable unless everybody involved in making of that article is paid their fair share, which is obviously super hard to do and quantify, which is why Google and Meta, Facebook, has said, yeah, we're not playing that game. So if you want to see articles posted on our platforms, that's your problem. Too bad. And the Canadian government has decided, all right, we're just going to silence it. And now us, the citizens, we the people, can't see certain news. We can only see really local Canadian news, which is CBC, CTV, you know, all the arms of the government, which the government's paying and funding the CBC and all these other places. So it's basically, we just have access to liberal news, which is pretty much the definition of communism. Getting the state-approved messages, state-approved media sources, which is biased, obviously, and not the real truth. You're only getting one side of the story, which is the more left-wing side of the story. I mean, I guess we have the Toronto Star, which is like barely right-wing anyway, barely conservative. And Joe Rogan's also talking about Bill C-36, which limits hate speech specifically online. Now, this is where we get really twisted. I mean, if you want to block certain news articles, there's always a way around it. You can get a VPN blocker and, you know, get whatever news you want. But this is actually proposed to change our Charter of Rights so that basically social media and online bullying is illegal, is a criminal offense. Now, I know what you're saying. That's great. You know, bullying shouldn't be allowed. You know, saying certain words shouldn't be allowed, whether it's online or offline. For example, you know, saying the N-word or saying something that's, you know, obviously racist and obviously wrong. Dude, I get it. I'm with you. Okay? The majority of us know not to say those things. It's common sense. However, if you go a step further and make it a criminal act to say certain things, again, on the surface, it sounds good, but where does it end? And that's the thing with these government policies. It's all about precedent. If this law passes and goes into place, Bill C-36, and they do in fact make certain words illegal, we're all going to clap and go, yay, as Canadians. But what happens 5 years from now when the English language changes and another word becomes offensive according to the government? And then 10 years after that, as we get more progressive in our economy, another word becomes banned. And if you say it, straight to jail. When does it end? And that's why free speech has to be absolute. It has to be. Yes, you can say and should be able to say whatever you want. As disgusting as it is, we need to protect everybody's right to say it. Now, I know you're saying, well, that's wrong. We shouldn't, you know, I'm not saying you can't challenge people and say, hey, fuck you, that's wrong. You can't say that and make them feel like shit about it. Go ahead. But when it comes down to the law, unfortunately, but fortunately, you need to be able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, not be canceled for it, period. Because precedent. That's it. And America believes in this so far, still. They believe in free speech, absolute. Now, let me know your thoughts below before I get into something else. Let me know your thoughts on free speech. Should it be absolute 100%? Or are you in favor of blocking certain words, certain phrases, certain slurs? Let me know your thoughts.
But it used to be amazing. I used to say that Canada's 20% less douchebags. like the people are 20% nicer than most people that you meet in America.
They're
but
polite.
That's why they get roped into all this shit. That's why they get roped into hate speech laws, because they want to be kind. They want to be good people. And they don't realize, like, compelled speech has a terrible ending. It always ends in communism, because someone has to compel that speech. Who does? The people with guns. And they tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And then you have violence that is enforced to get people to follow a doctrine that they may or may not believe in.
Now, Canadians are super nice. I know this for a while. We travel the world all the time. We also live in the U.S. during the winters in our house in Naples, Florida. We escaped the crappy Canadian winters. And from living in different places all over the world, I can say Canadians are a special bunch. We are very humble. We are very nice. Yes, we can get angry. Yes, we all have our beliefs. But in Canada, we say them at the kitchen table in closed doors. We don't attack people. And I can say from doing business solely in the U.S. now, it is so different working with professionals. They just tell you how it is. In Canada, it's not like that. But anyway, one of the reasons why we are where we are is because Canadians are so nice. It's kind of like our superpower, but it's also our kryptonite. Because we are so nice, we let the government and maybe other people in our lives walk all over us. Specifically, I'm talking about the government. And specifically, I'm talking about the pandemic lockdowns. There's a reason why Canada and really Australia specifically, but really Canada, was in the position that it was in when other countries around the world weren't, specifically our neighbors to the south. We were in massive total lockdown. We were just fed lie after lie after lie about what was going on with the C word. And I can tell you, I always kind of tell this story really quick. During that the peak of lockdown time in Canada, my wife and I, and at that time, our 8-month-old son, literally escaped Canada, crossed the border at the last day we were allowed to legally, and lived in Florida for like 5-6 months until Canada regained its fucking head. And then we ended up buying our place down there and said, that's enough of that. We need another place down in the U.S. just in case, and specifically Freedom, Florida. But my point was, in that time, it was like peak fear, don't see your grandma, you're the reason why she's dead, like all that. We remember the crazy marketing and messages we were told. And I was researching, obviously in Florida. I had friends in Florida. I was following social media videos, people in Florida, whatever. And I could see everybody was having a great time. Restaurants were wide open. Anyway, I knew this logically. But as soon as we crossed the border, I'm talking as soon as we crossed the border, like within an hour, I had to get gas. And nobody's wearing masks. In the grocery store where we parked in, the gas station, everybody's walking around. No masks on. This is weird. This was in Ohio, by the way. Well, we kept driving down for the next day, whatever. And the further and further south we got, the more open it was. And by the time we got to Florida, it was like Freedom Land. It was like Canada's Wonderland. People everywhere. Restaurants wide open. Bands are playing. People are having a great time walking their dogs on the beach. Like, it was just people everywhere. Wide open. At the peak level, where in Canada, my family, we were texting, seeing videos in Canada, we were like in fucking full-fledged lockdown. You can't go outside. You can't even go to a park with your kid and play on the swings because you might transmit the C word on the bars, and then the next kid gets it. You don't want to do that. Meanwhile, Florida, wide open. I'll never forget that feeling. The reason why I tell that story so often is because that was the moment. I already knew Canada was fucked, and I already knew that we were going to start our exit and our plan to leave and move to the U.S. permanently as permanent residents. But that moment, I remember walking downtown Miami with my 8-month son in the stroller, t-shirts, shorts, obviously having a good time because it was winter in Canada, and the feeling of like, I was fucking lied to heavily. Total communist, total lie. And I don't want to use that word lightly, but I'll never, ever forgive Canada, ever, for that feeling of literally having to flee Canada with my family. Now, again, maybe you're listening to this and saying, oh, fuck this guy. Obviously, I had the privilege to leave. We run a business. We invest in real estate. We're self-employed. I work my fucking ass off. Yes, I'm very wealthy. I talk about that all the time. That's the whole purpose of this channel, how to get wealthy and how to live your life the way you want to. But yes, because of what I do and what I've built, yes, I was able to literally flee from Canada and still be able to flee during the winter times. And that's the point that I really want to wrap up here, is instead of waiting for Trudeau to leave, to get voted out, for Pierre Poilievre to come in, maybe it gets better. I'm sure once Pierre gets in, sentiment of Canadians will get better. The economy will get better. Things will feel a little better. But here's the thing. Is it going to actually make it better for you? Is your personal wallet really going to get that much better once Pierre gets in and Trudeau gets out? It's probably not going to change that much. Your financial situation's probably not going to change that much. And most importantly, it's not about the money. It's about the freedom. It ain't going to change that much. You're still going to be working at your job that you probably don't like, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So if you really want to escape communism and all the bullshit that you don't like about Canada or anywhere, you got to build a business. You have to invest. It's the only way. And that's what this channel is all about. And if you want to learn more about that, feel free to subscribe. Yes, on this channel, I comment a lot about politics, but I also insert in a lot about economics because I am a real estate investor. That's what I'm obsessed about. I'm obsessed with economics. And I also want to give you the knowledge on how you can do it yourself as well. Because look, if a dummy like me who barely passed high school, literally, can become a self-made multimillionaire by investing in real estate and building a business, dude, anybody can do it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below on Joe Rogan commenting about Trudeau, calling him a communist, which is fucking hilarious. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video.